Dear students, now let us talk about the intellectual property rights in Oman. First of all, we must know that Oman became the member of the World Intellectual Property Organization in February 1997. What does it mean? It means now in Oman, if you have some new design of a product, or if you have written any book, or there is some music created by you, or there is some logo which is unique, or you have some trademarks with you, or you have come up with a new formula, chemical formula, or some product formula, you can get a protection by the law. Your intellectual property would be protected at least for 50 years after the death of that person who actually created it. So in Oman, there is a Copyright Act which is punishable by the Omani law after becoming a member of WIPO in 1997. And similarly for Telecommunication Regulation Authority, they also follow it and as per the Telecom Act. So in Oman, copyright laws actually prohibit reproduction of softwares without any formal permission. That means your work which is registered, if you have a patent, if it is registered, if you have a copyright work which is registered, if you have a trademark which is registered, if you have a logo or a company name which is registered, no one can use it without your permission. They need your permission to actually use it. This is as per this intellectual property rights. Now there are frauds in it. There are people, there are entrepreneurs who would tamper the logo or the trademark and use it for their business. These are unethical practices which need to be avoided. So remember that successful entrepreneurs, they do not engage in commercial frauds. They come up with their own ideas. They produce, they design a product, or they make a patent, or they come up with their own work, they get it registered, and they do not try to tamper or modify others' work or logos or trademarks and use it for their own business. We actually need to provide this information to the society so that there are less commercial frauds or adulterations. Adulterations mean you modify it a bit. For example, you are using the trademark, you are using the same logo of Apple but with a different name, a different color, or you just modify a shape a bit. That is adulteration. Don't do it. Now let us talk about quickly go through the tax law in Oman. In Oman, you can have a joint stock company, you can have a mixed company as well. Mixed companies mean in which there are non-Omani citizens, so which would be owning 70% or less of their capital. Remember, tax rates are to be determined with the following rules. If your capital is 30,000 or less, then no tax. If it is more than 30,000, then first 30,000 shall be exempted and 12% of the rest of the income. So if your income is 30,000 real income, we are talking about the revenue, not about the profit. So it would be exempted. But if your income is more than 30,000 real, then you have to pay 12% on the rest of the income. For example, if your income for the business is 40,000 real, in that case, the first 30,000 real would be exempted, and for the next 10,000 real, you would be paying a 12% tax. That means for the next 10,000 real, you would be paying 1200 reals as a tax. So for the total 40,000 real, the total tax for your company would be, in this case, would be 1200 real. So if there is a joint stock company or a mixed company, then these two laws would be applicable. That means less than 30,000, no tax, or if more than 30,000, then it would be 12%. Other companies, they will determine their rate as per the following schedule. So if you see the schedule here, You will see up to 5,000 it is exempted. From 5,000 to 18,000 you pay 5%. From 18,000 to 35,000, 10% rate is applied. 35 to 55,000, 15% rate is there. From 55,000 to 75,000, 20% rate is there. And more than 75,000, if the income is more than 75,000, you have to pay 25% tax. It's a progressive tax. Progressive means the more you earn, the more you pay in the form of a tax. But remember, this is for the other companies. There are Omani companies in which the Omani citizens would actually have more than 70% of their capital. Then the tax rate is the above one. Sorry, non-Omani is one. But for other companies in which Omanis have more share or more investment, then in the form of a capital, then these schedules would apply. Okay, so bankruptcy, we talked about it. Bankruptcy actually depends upon the financial position of a business, and that business or the partners of it, some of it, could be declared bankrupt by the bank. Remember, the liquidation, the liquidation of a company, that means the closing of a company is, or the bankruptcy, it actually is the only authority to declare it is the court. The court has the court has the authority to actually declare it as a bankrupt. So any business, any company, or the partners would be declared bankrupt only by the court. No other authority has this. And in case of a liquidation, remember the distribution of the assets. That means you will be selling the assets. It would be as per the following order. First of all, the liquidator, the bank person who is actually selling the assets of the business, he will be paid the expenses, the fee. Then government, then employees, then the secured creditors. The creditors, those people who gave you the loan, for example, bank, and they were insured. Remember, secured means insurance is they have the insured debt being paid to you. Then after secured creditors, the unsecured creditors come. Those people who owe you our money, that means you have to pay them the money, but there was no insurance to it. And then subordinated creditors, those creditors which are like tier 2 creditors. Okay, let us quickly go through some of the labor laws in Oman. Remember, it is a law in Oman that in the contract of your employee means the labor. First of all, there is no discrimination between the citizens, and the Constitution of Oman actually guarantees that Omani nationals have a right to work without any discrimination. It doesn't matter from which Kabila or from which tribe they belong to. There is no discrimination to it. Minimum working hours is 9 per working day. That means 48 hours per week. So this is the maximum cap. You cannot ask your employee to be working more than 48 hours. And you have to explicitly define the following benefits in the contract of that employee. So what are those? You need to explicitly mention the basic salary, the accommodation or housing allowances, the transportation allowance, the paid leaves. How many paid leaves are there? Paid leaves mean if there are vacations. If the person goes on a vacation, he will get the money for those vacations. End of the service gratuity and social insurance benefits. What is the level, how much gratuity he will get? It would be explicitly given. And medical treatment, how is it? So as per the law in Oman, labor are entitled for these type of benefits, minimum benefits. Minimum mean you have to mention these. There can be more benefits to the employee, but not less than these 6. Remember, there are two type of contracts. The contract can either be a fixed term contract, which means neither the employer nor the employee may terminate the contract before the natural expiry, except for the grave violations of the conduct reasons. So reasons should be mentioned. If those reasons occur, then the fixed term contract will end. Otherwise, if it's a 2-year contract or a 3-year contract, it will end at its natural time expiry. There can be an indefinite term contract as well. Indefinite term contract mean either party may terminate the contract by serving a 30-day notice in writing prior to the date on the termination to take the effect. That means 30 days notice either by the employee or by the employer can be given in terms of an indefinite term contract. Okay, what I want you to do is to just go through some of the important organizations which can provide training and fund in Oman. We have talked about it before. So there is Rayada, we've talked about it. Al Raft Fund is there. There is Sharaka. There is Cell program. There is Injas. So, and Oman Development Bank is also there. There are some commercial banks. There are some Islamic banks there. What I need you to do, you need to go through these slides so that you can have some practical knowledge about, especially about Rayada. So Rayada is the organization, we talked about it. They not only provide you with the fund, they also provide you with the training for how to develop your SME, small or medium enterprises. Remember, it is established, and then there is Sharaka. Sharaka is the established organization in 1998 by a royal decree. And remember, it also helps you, it provides you guidelines on the business plan, it helps you in market research, it helps you in developing your cash flow statements, your marketing strategy, and how would you actually liaison with the authorities who are the ones who would be relevant to your business. For example, how would you register your business? How would you actually go through your business? So it's not only about your business implementation, but also the incorporation of a business. There are some other organizations like Isaac. There are some Arabic notes also given on these slides. Please go through them as well. That will increase your understanding about these organizations. Grofin is also there. It's a global perspective established in 2004, and it actually is a financier for small and medium growing businesses in Africa and Middle East. They help you in your marketing, they help you in your financial statement analysis, they help you in the social aspect. We talked about sustainable products before, if you remember, environment friendly ideas. So Grofin actually works on that one as well. Then we have some other cell program that was also very we had that program with OMIFCO in Sur College of Applied Sciences before. It was for the applicants who are like 18 years old and having no resources, financial resources, and OMIFCO, the Oman India Fertilizer Company, it actually helped the companies in Sur for that, and specifically the students here, students of Sur and Sur CAS as well. So just go through those things. Injaz was also one of them, and just go through these organizations, especially Circa as well. So we have talked about it a bit. You will get some information, some critical information about these organizations in these slides. Remember one thing which I want to tell at in this module, the important thing. There are banks, there are commercial banks, and there are also the banks with which are known as Islamic banks. Remember, in Islamic banking, you will be paying the rent or some fixed amount rather than a tax, rather than an interest, riba. Riba would not be there. That is the concept of Islamic banking. Whereas for commercial banks, the traditional model would be there. That means if you take a loan, for that loan, you have to pay an interest on yearly basis. Whereas in Islamic banking, maybe you will be paying some ujara fee, or maybe you will be paying some rent to the bank rather than paying the uh, what do you say, riba. So riba explicitly would not be in an Islamic banking. That is the perspective. So uh, this is the basic rule of Islamic banking. Bank Nizwa or Midak Bank here, Hilal Bank, these are all Islamic banking banks. These are as per the Islamic law, or we call it a Sharia. So any form of interest will not be there. You will not be investing, and the main condition for getting a loan from the Islamic bank is that it should not be for some immoral business, like business of ham, or that is the pig meat, or weapons or alcohol like that. You are not involved in gambling, and you will be actually sharing the profit and loss. That is the perspective here. But Islamic banks are mostly protected from a loss. That means if there is a loss, that may not go to the Islamic bank. But remember, it's more about profit and loss rather than paying the interest. So interest is not there. There are different type of Islamic bank products which are offered to SMEs. One important one is the Mudarba. What is a Mudarba? Mudarba is an agreement between two parties where one party, which is the Rabbul Mal, provides funds while the other party, Mudarib, invest. So bank will become a Rabbul Mal and you will become a Mudarib, and you will be investing that money in some Sharia compliant company. That means the company is not doing some immoral business, and then you will be sharing the profits. Islamic bank will make sure that your business has more chances, or there is a less risk of a loss. There are more chances of getting a profit. Then there is ijara. Ijara is the leasing. In terms of a leasing contract, for example, you take a car on the leasing. If you take a car on a leasing perspective, then you will be paying the ujara fee. And there is mudarba, and there is musharka as well. So please go through these slides, and in the next module, I will be talking about our assessment of business idea, and I will provide you some guidelines about the case study as well.